Hi, everyone. We are back with another week of exciting rehearsals. This week, we're talking fall prep, and we kick off Gay Pride with the fabulous Bobbey Biddle. We also find out what made Trish say,
I want a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house on the Amalfi Coast, and I want it for $500,000.
and why Austin said,
I know. I feel like my dot is underwater now.
all this and more. So get out on the field, and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go.
Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Season 2 On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Nicole Younger. We are in for an exciting rehearsal this week because we want to get you prepped for everything in the fall. We're taking the time for the sidelines and schedules and deadlines and for all the things going into the marching band season. But before we get into all that, let's see who's on the sidelines this week. Austin.
Hello. How are we doing today, everybody?
Pretty good. You've been on like every week of the podcast recently.
You know, it feels like it. Hey, whoa, it's not that bad. I like being on here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
I do enjoy being on here. It's a great time. My schedule is not as busy as it should be right now, but just fine. I'm okay with all the rest and not doing as much. But, I like contributing as much as I can here, and I have fun with you guys, so why not?
Perfect. Whitney, so school is over at the Round Rock.
Oh my God.
We know you had a year.
Oh, I had so many years this year. Today is my first Saturday of 46 Saturdays in a row. So let's go. Let's go.
She's ready. I love that for you. Oh, all right. And Trish, you must be glad that you're not hosting, like that you're just hosting tonight and not producing.
I am, because I came home super frazzled because for those of you that haven't been following in the group chat, I said the earliest I could make it tonight was 9 because we had our 8th grade baccalaureate mass at school, which started at 7. And I didn't know what time it was going to be done. And, rushing home, and I was getting myself I rushed home, got the computer set up, couldn't find my microphone right away, found out my boyfriend had it, set up, got everything set up, was about to log in, trying to get the sounds done. And I was like, wait, I'm logged in as me. What's going on here? And then I found out that Jeremy was producing. So that was a huge relief. I must have prayed hard in church tonight because God answered.
Hashtag frazzled.
Hashtag frazzled.
Awesome. And Christine joining us from producer land. We never get to see your face, young lady.
Well, I was thinking actually, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, pay no attention to that person behind the curtain. So that, now I am, just for a little brief stop by, so to speak. And,
I'm going to start calling you the Wiz now.
Right? Well, we might talk some more about some of that stuff later. So, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, now that everyone is on the sideline, let's meet our guest clinician for this part of rehearsal. It's Pride Month for the LGBTQIA+ folks all across the world. And we wanted to kick off our Pride Month with celebrations with truly inspiring and well-versed in the marching arts activities. The fabulous Bobbey Biddle.
Hi, everybody. It's Biddle with D's. These are not T's, Nicole.
What did I say?
Well, you said Biddle, so
Biddle.
I had to fight another 3rd grade boy back when we were in elementary school over that.
Oh no! Anyway. Please don't fight.
Well, thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. Happy Pride Month.
Hello.
All right. So you have been doing a bunch and producing Pride. Tell me what, like, all that you did to put that pride together?
It started with me, at least. There was a weekend retreat in one of the gayest places on the East Coast, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And we bunkered down the 5 lead producers and mapped out every element of how the weekend was going to play out and some of the events leading up to Pride weekend. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. It's like the second biggest festival in the city of Philadelphia. It's we had a 400-foot rainbow, the inclusive rainbow flag being showcased in all these different areas of our city and our region, which was really inspiring to see. A lot of those videos are going up, and it's just cool to see really what all of our work looks like.
Oh, I've been seeing those.
It was awesome. Amazing. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and no major incidents and no major injuries, and I think everyone had a great time for sure.
Oh, well, great. I know that our producer Jeremy also worked on that with you, so that's got to be a great thing. And I've seen that flag. That flag is a long one. Like, I can't imagine who's got to put that together.
Yeah, it was like a city block, like a Philadelphia city block. There's a sort of old historic railroad bridge that goes over the Schuylkill River. It covered basically the longest. It covered like the entire length of that. That was in Manayunk, an area of Philly. It was at City Hall for the official flag raising over City Hall, and our new mayor, our first female mayor, and she's our 100th mayor. She spoke, and my own Miss Philadelphia was there, and so it was down at the stadium. So our professional sports stadiums are all clustered together in one area, and it was out in front of the Phillies, the Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers, their stadiums and arenas. So pretty amazing, and just a labor of love, and really inspiring seeing so many facets of people from our community come together. That's what makes me so proud of Pride, is seeing this, bringing us all together for sure, and all of our allies and supporters. Yeah.
So who was who was tasked with transporting the flag?
Well, that I want to say, I believe Jeremy Mother was in charge
Gathered the children.
Getting the flag. I was able to play hooky that day. I was working my regular job that day, but I did get a chance to see it down in the neighborhood. That's where the last place. That's where we call that sort of center city part of Philadelphia, where all the gay bars are, and we call it the neighborhood. And so that's where the last unfurling of the flag was, right in our 12th and Locust, 13th and Locust down in Center City. And I got to see it there, and it was pretty inspiring and almost intimidating, but in the best possible way. And people just coming off the street and grabbing it, holding onto it and waving it, and just feeling so proud for this to happen. For this moment.
That flag went on tour.
It did.
I love that. I love it.
It sure did.
We haven't even kicked it off yet. I'm in Cincinnati, and I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing all like the different, I guess you could say, color guards and everything. I've been seeing so many videos. I'm just jealous because I want to do it, but I don't think I'm close to anything.
Yeah. So, and the one thing that is a little bit different about Philly, the way that it's changed over the last couple of years, is people are used to the parades, which are great. We have our parade now during National Coming Out Day, our festival, which we call Our Fest. So we do the parade with all of the marching groups and the color guard teams and floats and all of that in October. But we do for Pride in June is a march. And really it's sort of I guess the best way I could describe it is, I think there were 7,000 participants. They met sort of in Old City, Philly, sort of where the Independence Hall is. And they marched like an old fashioned marching for your rights, marching for freedom, marching for our to be proud and to show our pride. And so they, it was organized by our team. Certainly lots of, I think people from our community and our marching arts community were there and rallying, getting volunteers. And so that's a really beautiful thing. And it ends in the neighborhood right at noon. And that is the kickoff to the festival.
Okay.
So
just
cool.
So that we know, it's like a march is like a protest and the parade is a procession. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Just wanted to
definitely. I mean, the parade is what we are, what we come to know. Those of us that know the Flagets organization, there's a couple in each different cities. Like they'll participate in parades, and we hope to have them in our Philly parade in October. The march is definitely about, like you said, protesting and letting our voices be heard, and also allowing the people outside of our community see so many of us come together into one space for common good.
Yeah.
So
just so everyone knows too, Ricardo is going to be doing a special Pride episode. So it'll talk to all of those different programs or different color guards and things like that. And Bobbie, you're doing a roundtable with the Flagets this month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. We got to get them on board. But we're really, we're, those of us in Philly are close to the Philly, New York Flagets team. So, we're in the process of reaching out and, would love to have them on. And so we're working on that. Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love all of this. And we're only on June 6th. So, and I know that all of us right now are pretty much in different states. So when are your prides happening? Do you all know?
Orlando, it typically happens in October. They have their big Pride Festival in October. So we kind of they kind of double tip around here. Yeah, a little different.
Oh, okay. But you still do it in June too, though, right?
I think they do a little something.
Still do it in June too, right?
I'm not 100% sure what happens, but there's a plethora of things that happen around this city with all the tourist stuff going on. But the main big Pride event that does happen here is in October. I think it's usually like the second or third weekend, I should say.
Whitney, when does Austin go?
It's actually DCI week, like every year. So that's why we've had such a hard time starting a Pride Guard here, because like everybody that would want to do it for the most part is involved in DCI. So we tried to probably 4 years ago we were going to start one. No, pre-pandemic. And it just didn't, and it's really expensive to enter the Austin parade too. It was I want to say it was $1,200 for a walking unit.
That's a lot.
I know. And I was like, that's crazy. So yeah, but it's all in August, which it's all hot. It's hot. Yeah. It's just hot.
Well, great. All right. Well, I think it is time for the news. Whitney, I just realized too, I don't mean to go into the news and not go into the news, but I was just like, oh, well, that's great. It's going to be hot. Yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry.
You lived here.
What are we doing?
Trish, we're going to do that. But first, you tell me.
Okay. Well, this upcoming weekend is the WGI Advisory Board in Vegas. And, it's usually, where lots of big, votes and decisions involving our wonderful Winter Guard activity are kind of decided on. There's one that's a little bit controversial right now. It's the one about the age limit in A class and the international teams. We could discuss, not discuss, wait till Cynthia and Joey get back from the advisory board to get a little bit more in depth with that. But that seems to be the most controversial proposal right now. Somebody proposed to keep the age limit what it is, regardless of where you're from. And that's, hurting a little bit, a little, and the way it was worded was definitely directed towards one group in particular from Canada who did really well in A class this year. And we could go there. And again, we'll get more information when Cynthia and Joey get back, and it's all voted upon. But it was the way it was worded was definitely directed at that one particular group.
Yeah, I don't know about what's happening on the other side. However, on the, like you said, like how it was directed, like they really did it. It's just like they could have definitely found another wording, another way to say it. It just sounded very pointed,
I think, a proposal to keep the age limit where it is, regardless of where you're from, says enough. Like, I think that just says enough. I don't think it needed to get personal.
Yes.
So,
Right.
I mean, whatever side of the fence you're on this topic, there's, singling people out is kind of, whatever.
I'm actually kind of surprised no one sent it back to them and asked for a revision, because they'll do that. I mean, they do that in our circuit, at least. They'll be like, hey, can you clarify this or whatever? But I'm kind of shocked that wasn't.
That is,
having known Cynthia, and as long as I have, and hearing sort of their unique challenges that they have in Canada and the international teams, I am more sympathetic to what they go through. I mean, that team, if I'm thinking of the right team, it's not as if they were a 30-member team full of 30-year-olds or whatever. So just knowing that they have unique challenges, and that's why the rule was the way it was before, it will be interesting to hear, because I'm sure there will be a discussion. And probably, Whitney, I'm thinking maybe they didn't send it back for revisions. You know what? You said this, and now you're going to have to defend it in a room full of the most famous people in our activity. So let's just get it all out there. And Team Canada is resilient, and I know they will let their voices be heard too. So, good luck out there in Vegas.
Some great things came out of Canada. Ryan Reynolds, Alanis Morissette. Come on. We don't claim Nickelback, though, so y'all can keep that.
I know. All right.
I'm kidding.
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. Oh, yes, please. Well, I am going to flip it and reverse it a little bit here. So Morgan State University. No, you didn't. Anyway, Morgan State University's marching band is going to be the first HBCU to perform at the D-Day parade. Yeah. Very huge, because honestly, the kids that are in that marching band, there are certain things that are brought to light in different, I guess you could say, arenas and different forms and different houses, So like D-Day in Normandy, that's not really brought up that much in, an HBCU, or in that way. However, the magnificent marching machine is going to appear on the world stage Friday, performing in Normandy, France, in the 80th anniversary and commemoration day of D-Day. So there's going to be more than 100 students from Morgan State that are going to be there. They've already been they've been shown on their local news, and just letting everyone know, hey, that we're going to be there. I think Jerome E. Reed, he's the director of Morgan State's Magnificent Marching Machine, says it's bigger than band. Our students have been prepared and educated on what that means. And that just speaks more on to what I was saying too. Like, there's certain things about history that, some people don't know about. And these kids were educated about it and were told about it so that they know what exactly they're marching, what's happening while they're there. The band director also goes on to say, I'm just going to read this verbatim, not just HBCU bands, but all marching bands come from a military background, and they're often forgotten. So, and the traditions of the syncopated movements and the regimented activities, the discipline, the flair, the dignity has already been attributed by many marching bands. So it's all of that brought in together. He also goes on to say, I would not be here if he hadn't survived. So he talks about his great-grandfather Reed's great-grandfather served in World War II, not far from Normandy Beach, where they're going to be marching. So he goes on to say that I wouldn't be here if he hadn't survived. 10,000 soldiers on that beach will be there marching on, and there's blood in the sand. And I think it's just great. It definitely hits a place that's extremely, personal for him. But also he gets to share that with the whole marching band. And then that marching band gets to share it with the rest of the marching bands that are going to be there. So, and it's the first HBCU that's ever been invited to perform in that parade.
Nicole, I was just thinking and reflecting on the time of many years ago. I'm not even going to say how many, when I had the opportunity to be on the beach at Normandy and, and stand like up on those cliffs and look out over the English Channel. And I mean, I was just a high school student. I mean, I had a lot to learn about life and all that sort of thing. But wow, what a very humbling experience to be there. And I can only imagine what that experience is going to be like for those college students and how, how enriching and powerful that's going to be, for them to be there. It's a very serene place. And I had chills when I was there. I mean, I felt like I could, see them coming, up on the beaches in the English Channel. It's really an amazing place to visit if you ever have the opportunity. So, what a great opportunity for those kids to get to go there and also to have the chance to perform. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Austin, what's up?
So we were talking about Vegas and the advisory board earlier. It's hot out in Vegas, right? We got to ship all those guys back to the band barn in Lucas Oil because they built an Olympic-sized swimming pool there. We all need to take a dip there, right? It's a big pool. They're having the Olympic swim trials at Lucas Oil. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking at all these pictures and they keep popping across my feed. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This is really cool. The best part about Lucas Oil is that they can kind of retrofit the stadium for pretty much anything they want. And this is just kind of the latest iteration of that. Like they've had Final Fours, obviously they've had Drum Corps, BOA, football games, all that. But I think Lucas Oil is one of the best stadiums in the country because they're able to retrofit for pretty much anything. And putting an Olympic-sized swimming pool in there is actually really cool because they had to build it. They took all the turf out and then they had to build it up. So they had to take out like the first, I don't even know how many rows. I want to say first 20 rows of seats and they built it up and they're going to be having over 1,000 swimmers in there. The event says it's going to draw up to 250,000 people for the Olympic swim trials. And out of the 1,000 people, 52 will make the team for Team USA. And they're going to send them to Paris when it's all said and done.
I'm looking at the picture. It's
huge. Look at that. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
I know.
My mind is blown.
I know. I feel like my dot is underwater now.
I have looked at many pictures and I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that there is a Olympic-sized swimming pool built on that field right now. I mean, I can't believe it. The technology and the infrastructure is just incredible. I can't believe that is a
They're
thing.
good. I mean, that stadium's really good at doing wonky things, and they do it. I mean, they've done pretty much anything and everything you can think of, and I'm kind of jealous. I kind of want to go. It's coming up. Let's see. It's coming up on June. Where are we at? June 15th through the 23rd.
Oh, that would be fun to go watch. I was just about to ask when that's going to.
Yeah, June 15th to 23rd is when that's happening. Aren't you on the road then, Nicole?
21st, so I got some time.
Yeah, so you got some time. You can make a pit stop in Indianapolis on the way out, right?
Maybe. I might.
Did anybody see the thread on social recently about what was your favorite DCI championship venue? It was really interesting. It was a lot of people had different things and different. I personally voted
I saw it, Trish.
Yeah, I personally voted for Orlando, even though it was incredibly hot. It was so hot. However,
it was so hot today.
However, DCI used to sell a package where you could buy the DCI tickets and the 3-day hopper pass to the parks. And that was awesome because we used to pick Epcot We used to say, let's go to Epcot on the day of the parade. So we'd see all the DCI corps at the parade and like do Epcot, and that it was fun. It was hot.
Oh, that's so smart.
It was fun. It was really fun. So
Wow.
a lot of interesting comments. I know Christine said she saw it too. A lot of interesting, what cities people like the best. Madison got a lot of votes. I liked Madison too. But I haven't been to Lucas Oil, so you guys can fill me in on that one. But
if we can just pick Lucas Oil up and then move it to Orlando, I think we can just like that. That's like the solution.
And that's it. We're done.
That's the solution.
Yeah.
Anytime Disney is mixed in with anything, I'm happy. So, I mean.
We'll get some Disney everywhere. It's going to be fun. Awesome. All right, Christine.
Well, my news story is kind of interesting. I mean, it comes kind of from within the group, so to speak. And I swear, like, Steven is full of surprises all the time, okay? So what I'm thinking about, even before I tell you this story, is the fact that several months ago, when I was watching WrestleMania, I mean, yes, I was watching WrestleMania, okay? That's what we do in our house, okay?
It's okay.
But I was watching WrestleMania, and it was exciting, too, because it was in Philadelphia. So we were seeing these, various, Philadelphia things happening. And I think we talked about it a little bit on a previous episode, that like the mummers showed up, and it was like, oh, that was really cool. And then all of a sudden, what? Is that the Eagles drum line? Yeah. And there's Steven, like, on WrestleMania, surprise. Okay. So
it's like every text you, oh, you're playing.
Right, exactly. I think I texted Jeremy actually and said, oh my God, Steven is on TV, But anyways, then, Steven is not done with his surprises, okay? Apparently, Steven has been collaborating with another artist and has released, a single, if you will, okay? And I guess we're going to get to listen to it now, aren't we?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. So here it is. Yeah. So that was a fun sample. I mean, Steven told us, the whole project is him and a good friend of his named, and I hope we have this right. It's a capital E and a lowercase b. So there's a couple of ways we could interpret this.
Is it E flat?
It could be. It could be E flat. It could be ebb. It could be EB. We're going to have to find out from Steven. So
okay, he's
the rapper. Steven's the producer. There's a chance that he's going to come on. He's going to be on with us. We're going to find out some more about this. They're looking at dropping singles on Juneteenth because, this is a conscious, as Steven says, a conscious, thoughtful rap about Black freedom. And the rest of the album is dropping the following Friday, June 21st. So, yeah.
June 21st is shaping up to be a very popular day.
Right? So like I said, Steven is just full of surprises. So you just never know what he's going to come up with next. So
I know we all stretch into this first track, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring it with me. Be like,
I'm so excited to hear this whole thing. It sounds so good already. Sabrina Carpenter is shaking in her boots already.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. Well, we're going to finish listening to this and we're going to go to a commercial break.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
Shop our extensive consignment inventory for great looks for your team that won't break your budget. Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
Check out our fun merchandise and gift items.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs. Contact us for custom show design services.
Clean out your storage areas and get money back into your budget with our consignment program.
Guard Closet is here to help you get all you want and need this winter season.
Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
All right. So we are talking fall prep, and we hear, Christine, you have some exciting news to share with us. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah. You have to remember we have this other thing kind of floating around called Guard Closet, and
What? That's so cool.
but it's a thing. Anyways, coming up on June 14th, which is Flag Day. All right, it's also my daughter's birthday, which is kind of fun. But anyways. So coming up on June 14th, we have what's become our annual Get It Day. Okay. Now we came up with this from that expression that we hear from so many of you all the time. Y'all better get it. So before I talked about Get It Day, okay, I have kind of a little assignment for everybody. Okay. I need, especially the guard people, because, you guys are the ones that do this. I'm a brass person. We don't do this thing. We don't say this, but all you guard people, okay, you have this, this, whatever it is, this cheer, this, phrase, this expression. So I need to hear, your very best. Okay. Y'all better get it so that we can, kind of hype this up. So whoever wants to go first can go first. So, or maybe I'll call on somebody, right?
I
will my teacher hat back on, right?
I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go. Do it all together?
We could. Okay. Let's try that. Let's see what that turns out like first. Ready?
Okay.
Set.
Ooh, y'all better get it.
Y'all better get it.
There you go. All right. So anyways, Get It Day is like our annual kind of like big promotion day. Okay. So it's going to be a pretty large flash sale that's going to last for 24 hours of consignment. So that's going to be 35% off many, many sets of consignment that we have, flags and costumes. And then that sale is going to continue then for the whole week then after that. And it's going to be 25% off many, many sets of consignments. Okay. And the thing you got to remember is that, I mean, sometimes people can't believe this, but it's true. I mean, we have thousands of sets of consignments. We really do. Like, there's several hundred sets of uniforms available and costumes, and there's several hundred sets of flags. So, I mean, and we are bringing in more and more and more. I mean, I added another set. No, I added like 3-4 more sets just today. They're going to keep rolling in, even leading up to June 14th. So, keep your eyes on that. Start shopping a little bit, start checking out, to see what you might be interested in. It might just show up in that flash sale, coming up then. We're also going to try to do some other promotions and just getting the word out about some of the other things that Guard Closet does with, design consultation and, getting new items from our vendors. Also, we can, share with our potential customers more about what a microsite is, which is kind of a fun thing. That's how you can set up a specific website for your group so that they can order the specific items that you want them to order, like shoes and gloves and stuff like that. So if you are an organization where the students have to pay for the stuff themselves and you don't want to just send them out into yonder and the wilds of the internet and accidentally buy the wrong thing, they're not going to buy the wrong thing. Right. We don't want them doing that. Well, I bought my daughter these black shoes. Aren't these okay? No. Those are not okay. That kind of thing. I
told you, Susie.
Right. So, you pick the styles you want. It can mix and match too between vendors. If you want something from this vendor for the gloves and you want something from this vendor for the shoes, we can make that happen. So that's another cool thing also that we offer, so that, you can find out more about that at any time, of course, but on, Get It Day especially. So that's pretty much it.
Wow. And they should be able to find anything. Like there's all kinds of themes.
Oh gosh, yes. And if you pay attention in the Facebook groups, like I'm popping up in there all the time because as soon as somebody says I'm looking for this theme, I just go link, paste, like here we go. There's something for you right there.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, and you got to think outside the box too. I mean, we're doing this show and don't be so specific. It's fine to think outside the box a little bit, and just because you're doing something about Egypt doesn't mean that it has to have pyramids on it. I mean, it's okay.
Gold is fine,
right? Gold is fine. Yeah. So it's stuff like that. But yeah. So check us out. Anytime, of course. But especially on June 14th, there's going to be some fun stuff going on for Get It Day. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Okay, well, we're going to get into some fall prep for everyone else too. So last week, I know we talked about what everyone should be doing over the summer, like rest, condition yourself for next season, line up all the committees for band parents and get your performers selected and then begin their training. But what we really do want to talk about is there's a ton more stuff. But let's get into some practical things. If you are a director that's listening to this right now, you might want to get out a pen and piece of paper, like if you're a young one, and know what you could actually get out of this, because this would be the time. So some practical things, like things that can be done in like real time. Bobbie, can you give our audience some realistic timelines on when things come in, like costumes, uniforms, flags, props, just all the things we would need for fall season, and what should people be doing right now?
Well, you should definitely already be in touch with your go-to vendor. Certainly come to ShowDay Designs if you'd like. info@showdaydesigns.com. Shoot us an email. You can visit our website. You should already be having those conversations. So if you haven't started, get to it. I know we quote 10 weeks for costumes and flags. No, sorry, for costumes and band uniforms and stuff like that. We're at 6 weeks for flags and vinyls. So, especially with performance wear, do not dilly-dally. I'm not familiar with everyone else's ship times. I know we try to keep ours competitive and keep ours on the, quicker turnaround. But so if today's date, I think when I was quoting ship dates today, if you had everything in, that included measurement, sizes, a purchase order from your school, or a deposit, you're at an August 15th ship date. So that's if you've begun the process and are almost towards the end. And I know some schools are still in session. We're still figuring out who's in our band. We're still figuring out numbers. So I would say get it rolling. Don't wait until you have it figured out. I mean, I should think you know what your show is, what your design needs are. So I know we have a great bank of artists, designers. We can help you achieve what you need. Same with, we have in-stock stuff on our website. That stuff is sitting on shelves. We have some ready to make stuff that's quick turnaround as well. So you should be having those conversations. I mean, we're into June now. So, with the in-stock stuff, that's stuff, if you go to our website, there's a tab there that is, again, stuff that's pre-made, is sitting on shelves ready to go, which is not common in our activity for a vendor to have new stuff on shelves ready to go. Right. As far as custom, that is primarily what everyone is selling now, is custom, because it's become so ubiquitous and really easy if you know what you're doing. So, if you want something custom based on the specific show that you're doing, shoot us an email or message us through the website. Give us your budget per costume. Give us what you need. You can email. A lot of people like to email inspiration photos. My favorite is when we get photos of previous costumes we've done. So we know that we're doing it right because you're inspired by previous work that we've done, which is great.
That is a work of mine. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. So, but you should be on it. That's basically the moral of the story is if you're not doing it now, get it rolling now.
Yes.
Bobbie, I have a question for you. What are some mistakes that people make?
make sure that everyone who's supposed to be in the conversation about your designs is in the conversation with the vendor. So not lots of times, but sometimes I see there could be trip ups because program coordinators were handling certain things, which is not, to be honest, that's something we see a lot of up here in the Northeast. Your band director or your color guard director is handling that. I know in Texas or the Midwest, we have program coordinators for marching bands. Your design consultant. There have been some communication hiccups because of those reasons. I always like to say the person paying the bill should be on every email, should be in every conversation. I know band directors are very busy, but I'm a marching band director myself. And as much as I may trust and rely on someone when it comes to the money that my school or my band boosters is spending, I'm going to be involved. I insist on being involved in those conversations. So I would just say, certainly, if you're a color guard director, you're getting a costume, I'm sure your band director gave you the okay to go ahead and get the process started. But make sure everyone is clear on what the expectations are. People tend to sometimes wait a long time to responding to approving things, or to, sometimes we'll get measurements in July and it's like, and I understand people work on different time frames, but California, the West Coast, they seem to operate, their season starts later and ends later. So I think that's probably the mistake people make. And of course, people don't make mistakes intentionally, but communication, and on our end too, we do our best. Sometimes things just happen,
So Bobbie, I mean, I know you and I talked a lot in Dayton about what my program is doing. And I'm very, very super close to reaching out to you guys. We just, we talked about previous situations and things like that. But we would want kind of what we had previously. And I know you guys, because I work, you guys, ShowDay does my Winter Guard costumes exclusively, and we couldn't be happier.
And we work with Whitney School too.
Oh, yay. Awesome.
Actually, you have both my schools. You got Austin too.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. I think, and I was planning to have this conversation with you privately, but this might be helpful to other people. So,
Sure.
If they hear it, we would kind of want what we had previously, somebody say, this is the show concept. We want a costume, we want flags, we're using 6-foot flag here, 7-foot flag here, whatever. And for somebody to just show us how to make our show come to life, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, if you're reaching out for the first time, be as descriptive as you can be. Some people do like the designers of the companies they work with take the lead. And if anyone knows ShowDay Designs, Joe Heiniger is one of the best in the business. I mean, I've talked a lot about him. I insist upon Joe because Joe does not insist upon himself. But he's one of the most talented designers, both with costuming, flags, and show designers in the country. So, I think that, and I'm sure the people that have worked with Joe here, the one thing I've always loved about Joe's designs is, first of all, the finished product always looks like the sketch. Some of those sketches out there are very creative and very animated looking, and I can't even recall specific designers anyway, so that's not really a read at anyone directly. But so we, I just say, give us as much information as you can. We're feeling these colors, if it's, Christine mentioned an Egyptian show. So like if it's an Egyptian show, but we don't want to go the traditional Egyptian route. We'd like to see different, sort of a different take on it. Also, as far as costumes go, a budget is important. And just so everyone knows, unfortunately, because of the cost of fabrics, this kind of, I think, came out of COVID and international shipping. And you're not getting the custom for $125 anymore. Unless with us, you can get a fully printed unitard with whatever you want it to be, maybe with a little side drape for about that much, which I think is still pretty affordable. but you're going to have to start being a little more insistent with your band boosters, with your band director and whomever's in charge of that, the school district sometimes, and letting them know your prices have gone up. And it's not because companies want to, gouge clients in schools. That's just what's happened. But yeah, Trish, to answer your question, we can help build out a whole visual aesthetic for you if that's the type of assistance you're looking for. And, we're absolutely
definitely
capable of doing that. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think to your point, I think some of us, and my boyfriend has this joke about like House Hunters International. It's like, I want a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house on the Amalfi Coast, and I want it for $500,000. Like, so we're gonna, we all try not to do that, but we are guilty sometimes. Like, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that, and like you said, my budget's 125. So we're all trying not to do that, but but it's really great. I mean, any time that I have dealt with ShowDay, I've been like, the budget is this, and it just comes out. Another thing I wanted to say about ShowDay as well is Joe has a definite aesthetic, and you can kind of tell if it's a Joe costume, but nothing is cookie cutter at all. Everything looks totally different. I mean, it's just, it's really incredible.
He's on top of too. He's very big into it. I'm not implying other companies aren't, but he's very big into new fabrics, what is available. We just got in, it's going to be now in what we're calling ready to wear, I think, or ready to make, made to wear. I don't know. He's got to figure that out. But stuff that's more like maybe 4-week turnaround stuff where patterns are developed. Pieces, fabric might already even be cut. It might be in bags waiting to be sewn together. But we started carrying this new fabric it's this hollow sequins that's in this unique pattern in silver and gold on black. And I saw this, and I'm not going to reveal what my marching band is doing, but I was like, oh, I want that sequins in my costume, so he's just got an eye for that. And, Whitney, you've worked with Joe a few times, and I still have this vision of Round Rock wearing white dresses one fall and just being so struck by how gorgeous they were. And just so many memorable, incredible costumes. And like you're saying, it's distinct. It's Joe, it's ShowDay, but it's unique and beautiful all the time.
Yeah, our costumes from this winter, we did like a rock star show. They were awesome. They looked so great. So, I also have a question, Bobbie. What do you think is like the average for a custom design, as far as like price per costume right now? What's that kind of running you guys?
I would say, when I've been doing some invoicing, I would say like 165, 170, which may sound like a lot of money. And I certainly appreciate anyone that thinks that it sounds like a lot of money.
It's not bad. It's honestly not that bad at all.
It's not bad. And that could get you sequins and chains and, depending on what you're working with. People that have a sort of unrealistic idea of getting something that's fully fabricated with a big circle skirt and thinking that it's only going to be 150, 160. Well, I'm here to tell you that fabric alone is going to put that costume over $200. So just be ready to spend, the more you want, the more you want as far as elements on a costume. But you can still get a great like pullover band top. Like I usually, for my own band, I usually just get a pullover band top. This year, it's going to be a little bit something different. But that's 57 for us. If you add a drape, it's a little bit more. You don't have to break the bank. And again, with the printed unitard, because the print quality is so good, we can print on velvet. We can print on different other fabric. We have a white sequins we print on. That's going to be a little bit more than 125, 130. But you can get your own custom printed thing that's beautifully printed, and you don't have to break the bank. So there's something there for everybody. And I like to say,
Guard Closet has my printed flamingo unitards with the side skirt. Gorgeous.
Those were fabulous.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know that we are talking to folks, like anybody actually, and there's always going to be those programs that don't have a lot of money. And like Trish said, there is Guard Closet for that. And Christine did bring up too, like some people will go to Amazon. I think that has to do with what you can do and where you are able to get those funds for and to get what you need, so I think that's great. But Christine, I did want to toss it back to you just to tell us a little bit more about Get It Day and where we can find out more info about Get It Day. And
Sure. Yeah, I mean, just keep following Guard Closet social media. We're going to pop up with some things over the next couple of days and, let you know some more about some things that we have planned. We're not going to give away all the surprises perhaps, but, we'll give you some more information, over the next couple of days as we lead up to next week. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
Good to be here.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to take a little commercial break and then we will be back.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, and here are your announcements coming from the box. Don't miss all of our bonus content, including On a Water Break in Rhinestones with your host Lexi Duda, exploring the world of the Twirlers. Don't miss Parades and Drum Majors at Step Off with your host Jack Goudreau, and get lost in translation with your host Cynthia Bernard, exploring all the words that confuse all of us in the marching arts all across the world. And go behind the lens with marching arts photographers all across the country with your host, Chris Marr. Plenty more bonus content from On a Water Break, so listen anywhere you get your podcasts. If you want to be on a Water Break as a guest, or you know somebody that would make a great guest for On a Water Break, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com or find us on social media. Okay, field staff, take it away.
Let's reset.
Okay, it's time for the thing we like the most. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
All right, we're going to start with Trish.
Okay, so what are we doing when we finish spring training rehearsals and one of your guns, rifles, who's not a saber, now we're done, spring training is done, comes up to you and says, "Can I be a saber?"
No.
And I said, "Well, why didn't you?" Every time I said, "Anybody interested in doing saber, go over there." Why did you never go over there?
I didn't think you were talking to me.
So I, as the good educator, I'm going to meet with her a little bit and, go over some stuff, and make it, a possibility for her. Maybe she was afraid, or maybe she just didn't, whatever, didn't think, all of a sudden dawned on her at the last minute that she should have said something. But what are we doing not trying it during spring training?
I can't even. Trying to get into the head of a teenager is like trying to map the coordinates of a dream. Like I don't want to even begin to understand why they think the things they think and do the things they do. So
don't make your brain bleed.
Is she younger?
She's a sophomore. She's going to be a junior.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. And it's so interesting too, because I find when I'm teaching and working with new weapons, I find, this is just me, I could be crazy, but I find they actually grasp onto saber a little bit faster because it's not such a big clunky piece of wood. But what are we doing? We are supporting and loving and meeting them where they are.
And she's a good member, so I'm going to give her a shot, but just wish she would have said something sooner.
All right. Austin?
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of the off all the design stuff we were talking about. What are we doing designing bad costumes for our kids? That's a big one for me. My biggest thing is make your kids feel good, and then they'll perform better. If they feel like superstars, they're gonna go out and perform like superstars. If they don't feel like it, you might not get everything you want out of them. So just keep that in mind when you're designing your costume.
I should like to think no one's doing that purposely, but I tend to think that people design for themselves and not for their students.
Exactly.
So,
and that's where the issue lies.
Yeah. And they're designing for maybe their ego or whatever that might be. That's why I've always, even before I ever worked for a costume company, and it was always Joe, still, but I always let the designer do their work, and hopefully the designer knows what they're doing,
You're hiring designers to do their jobs effectively for you, and you're like, and I just don't like the whole micromanaging thing where you're like, I want this, and this, and I want it to look a certain way. It's just like, can you let the artist do the art, and then you just hit the stamp of approval on it?
Well, that and know your guard or know your group.
Yes.
And know what's going to look good on them. And not to mention, once you put it on them, ask them, how do you feel?
Yes.
Do you feel good?
Yes.
As soon as a kid says, or student says, this is uncomfortable for me, then guess what? You've got notes. You know what I mean? Like, that needs to go back to be fixed for this kid. And it's best to do it now than do it later because, you're just wasting time.
The best compliment that the thing that always touches my students the most is when other groups compliment how they look in their costumes. And I pride myself on that. I'm not saying I have the best taste, but I'm one of those people that if I can't do it, I'm going to surround myself with the people that can. And so I have a Joe Heiniger, as a I'm also an employee, but also a client, so you can have beautiful costumes that look great on your kids, and it's not a huge effort. So
I trust your taste.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not a huge effort for the designer, or and sometimes in a lot more cases than probably a lot of us have experienced, it's not a huge effort financially either. You can do it while saving money.
Yeah, that's true.
Bobby, what are we doing?
I was thinking, what are we doing for the summer break? What are we doing with our personal time? I know this is a podcast to talk about all things marching arts, but we're human beings that deserve rest and reset. So what are we doing for maybe a couple weeks? We're allowing ourselves to have off, or maybe a month or so. I know I have probably about 3 or 4 weeks before we start summer rehearsal. So what are we doing with our free time, friends?
I'll go. I'm gonna spend most of the summer on my paddleboard, and also Six Flags. We're gonna go to Six Flags, and I don't know if you guys have heard of Meow Wolf. It's really weird to say, but there's one in Grapevine, Texas, and we're gonna take a trip up there and go see that. So
what is that?
Look it up. It's a crazy visual experience thing. Literally meow, like a cat meows, and a wolf.
Okay.
Look, it's crazy.
Meow wolf.
I can't explain it. Yeah, go look it up.
There's a lot of art stuff that's going on here in Cincinnati, like the interactive Van Gogh exhibit and things like that. I've been really big into taking myself out on little day dates because it's better. You don't have to ask somebody else, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Well, I want to do what I want to do. And I want to go do this.
You know, Bobby brings up a really good point there too. You're touching on it too, Nicole. I got into a conversation about this with another teacher yesterday, in that when you make your profession or a majority of your time involved in the arts, then you interact with the arts in a different way sometimes, because you're doing it as your profession. You're doing it as your job, you're doing it as your work. But then you have to remember to take time to recall the fact that the arts, your love and passion for the arts, is what got you involved in this in the first place. So then take a step back and give yourself experiences where you are just, experiencing the arts and not worrying about, working in it or teaching it or designing it or anything like that. Just allow yourself to enjoy. I mean, I will admit, I'm a full-time music teacher. That's hard for me to do sometimes. Sometimes I've got to remind myself it's okay to just experience this art just for fun and for entertainment and, the aesthetic qualities of it. don't worry about all the other stuff that, that's involved, because it's hard.
It's awesome. That's awesome. All right. And let's see. Oh, Whitney.
Oh, what are we doing? I want to say I talked about this earlier. Maybe I'm just having a fever dream, but what are we doing about like our hair and makeup, like for our kids not always being great? I went to cosmetology school and I've designed a lot of hair and makeup for groups and what have you over the years, but I just saw a lot of stuff this winter that I was like, that's not passable. Like, I don't.
That is classic.
Yeah, like you can't have on a great costume and this doesn't look great too. Like it's all a part of it. And I always tell my kids, like, if it, like we were kind of saying earlier with the costumes, if you look great, you're going to perform great, and like your natural hair curl that hasn't been brushed and has no product in it, and you just kind of did like a sloppy, like half up thing, like, no.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I feel like what's becoming, well, and maybe I'm just late to the party, but what's becoming big too, and I'm pretty sure you do this with your groups, but there's like a whole page, or they'll send inspiration pictures, like, you can try one of these 3. And if you can master it, then yes. I know that I used to do that with my group in Kentucky. I would send like 3 different pictures of hairstyles, and I'm just like, I want you to try one of these, whichever one you're comfortable with. And if I say, yes, you can do it, then great. But it has to look that way every time. And I try to make it so it's something that they can do, or at least they get, if they need help from a friend, it's one friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't, and maybe I should save it for my what are we doing, but I really do feel like with anything, like we give little tutorials on how to tape a flag or how to oil valves, that kind of thing. Well, we should give tutorials on how to put makeup on.
Oh, I got all kinds of those.
Well, Whitney,
y'all, if you need something like that, call Whitney. She's got you.
I was going to say, do you offer, is this like something you do or would consider doing for marching arts groups?
Yeah, no, I do. I haven't done a lot of it in like the past year, since I took on Austin as well, and directing too is a lot. But I usually I'll like do like a promotional thing and like, hey, if you need hair and makeup stuff. And but yeah, I mean, I used to work with Karen Hall, if any of you know Karen Hall. I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to say that name in this industry anymore, because she got herself into some troubles. But yeah. So I used to work with her, and I mean, we did Crown, we did Pride, we did all kinds of stuff. I mean, she was doing everybody. But yeah, I that's something that's always like, I've always loved hair and makeup, and I've always loved color guard. So that's something that I'm always looking at, watching. I got tons of tutorials, because I've done stuff for groups like across the country, and they're not flying me out there. That's crazy. So I just make a video for them and they pay me for the video. But yeah, I love doing that. It's important.
That is really good to know.
Whitney, tell them your email, girl.
Whitney Stone 1085 @gmail.
Okay. You've got it now.
I did not mean to turn that into a promotion, but thanks.
Well, and I think awesome. That just goes to what you all were saying, and Austin was saying it. I mean, and it's low effort in the way that if you create a simple, achievable look that all the kids can do, all kids from all backgrounds, kids of different races that have different hair needs, but if you meet them where they are, I love that phrase, meet them where they are, and you create something that's achievable, it goes into the whole idea of, and I always say, if you've got the aesthetic and the look down, you are like 65% there. So what's the Instagram, Whitney, if they want to find you on Instagram?
Dancer Whit.
Dancer Whit.
She's gonna get busy.
Getting
Quick,
busy.
throw the meow wolf now.
I have 46 Saturdays off right now in a row, so I can do it. It's fine.
All right. Well,
not for Whitney. Now you don't have those 46 Saturdays off.
As far as gushing and going for me, I guess, man, I don't really know.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
All right, so we're actually gonna flip it. So enough complaining. It's time for our gush and goes. So Trish, tell us.
I know I've discussed it previously. I started a little color guard club at my school, and although it ended a month or so ago, we are having a little club, all the clubs in the school showcase on Tuesday, and the color guard will perform. So I pulled them out of class today to have a little rehearsal, and they were very happy to get out of class. So now we're playing. Now we're doing all the things that we just talked about on this episode. What are we going to wear? How are we going to do our hair? And all that kind of fun stuff for these kids, not knowing anything about color guard. They're leaning into it big time. So I can't wait to tell you guys how it went. They're super excited, and we're hoping that they're nervous too, because they've never, ever done this. And I keep explaining to them that, you know, the school doesn't know. We only have 5 kids in the color guard club because nobody really knew what it was. And even today, while we were rehearsing, the 8th grade came down to practice for tonight for the mass. And they all stopped and looked in the gym. And when they were done, they all started clapping. I said, do you see?
Aww,
you see now, like, you know, what it's about. So we're super excited, and I can't wait to tell you guys all how it went next time I'm on.
Oh, I can't wait. No. All right, Austin.
Oh goodness, gush and goes. Oh god. I'm enjoying my time off, which is great, but I think I'm planning a move to Texas.
What? Which part of Texas?
DFW area.
Okay.
Boo.
Oh, boo me. I love the Austin area too. But guess
And your
what?
name's Austin.
It's like double the price.
Oh, girl, you don't
It
have to
ain't
tell
cheap.
me.
It ain't cheap to live in Austin. I want to so bad, but it ain't cheap.
I
DFW is
can
a
only
lot
afford to
more
live in this
achievable.
house. I know, it's crazy.
That's why I'm going there. I'm like, there's still good band. There's still a lot of great band up there. And
Oh,
I'm
there's
like,
amazing
I can
bands up
jump in.
there. Amazing.
Oh yeah, jump in a
And
couple
they
programs
get
and
paid better there too. Yeah. Yes.
They're bigger.
And in Houston.
Because they're tons bigger, yeah.
Dallas and
less.
Houston, the at least guard directors make better money out there, but it's more expensive
Really?
here. Yay! Yeah.
Really?
Really?
But the guards in what? I feel like I don't know.
Well,
I feel
you've
like the
got
guards are-
Montes, you've got Allen, those huge schools.
Yeah.
Like they can barely do drill because they've got so many kids in their marching band.
Right, but you could say the same thing about a lot of those like the Leander ISD and even the Round Rock ISD bands too. They're huge. They're still huge.
Yes.
I mean, not Hebron big, but like
Close.
you only got like 20, 30 more kids in those. Like Hebron's only got 20, 30, 40 more kids than those guys. Which I mean, in hindsight, which isn't a ton, but it sounds like a ton, but it's really not if you look at the big picture of everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Hold on one second. Ooh, Bobby, do you have anything to gush and go about?
I love the 20 this isn't a lot yet, right, Trish? Like in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
What am I gushing about? Well, I'm about to start year 4 as the director of my school's marching band.
You got your 4 seniors.
So the freshmen from that first year are now seniors, and there's like 4 or 5 of them that stayed. But
so
it's so we were kind of walking down memory lane a little bit the other night at rehearsal, and so I'm pretty proud of that. We just had a big band awards. We had an incredible senior class. It was just a really special year. I mentioned it before. Our indoor color guard won a big championships here on the East Coast, and we had a student go to all-state band,
nice.
which is a big deal in a pretty big state. We're not big in terms of geography, but there's a lot of counties and a lot of school districts in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And off the subject of marching arts, Jeremy and I will be traveling to York, Pennsylvania next year to see our 2 Miss Philadelphia title holders compete for the state competition. That is
pageants.
Yes,
Oh,
and that
yes.
is the preliminary to Miss America. So like the famous Miss America, which had once upon a time a very famous parade that lots of amazing marching groups participated in back in the day. So yeah, lots of great things going on. So very proud of all of those things.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome. Whitney, what do you
Okay,
gushing about?
I'm gonna talk about or gush and go about the Try Guys episode that just came out yesterday. The Try Guys tried Color Guard, and it is 39 minutes of awesomeness. We watched the episode today. I mean, they had like put out a little teaser, and I was like so excited. And when everybody found out that they were doing it with Vox, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" But like it's just such a good episode. We laughed, we cried. I cried at the end because it got all Color Guard emotional, and they got emotional about it, and with the Vox performers, it was such a good episode, and I think it is going to be so important for our activity that people are sharing and seeing this video. It's already got 500,000 views on YouTube, and it's been a day.
Mm-hmm.
Most of their episodes average about 1 to 2 million, I was noticing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be huge for us. I think it's great to have that kind of like advocacy from a group of people that aren't really involved.
Right.
It was just such a good episode.
I was really taken back by how moved they were by the experience.
Yes.
And the way they built it up to say, like, was it one of their final episodes or something like that? Something to that effect. But they were saying,
they're
like,
starting their own streaming platform, so they're moving away from YouTube.
Yeah, and they were saying that this was one of the things that they saved for last because they really were all about trying. And I was like, really? Like, that's...
Yeah, they said they'd had a lot of requests to try Color Guard over the years.
I thought they were phenomenal. I thought they did a great job. They, they caught on pretty quickly. Some of them, 1 or 2 of them over the 3 have better inclinations than others, but that's also our activity with our students, so.
Eugene, one of them, he is a dancer actor. That's his background. And so with him excelling in it, I was like, yeah, this was you. I love that. Well, I'm going to gush and go. This is something that's very new and just happened today. But I am actually going to be part of the guard closet doing some consignments and picking up, some hopeful clients from all around. So if you need anything for your band, your percussion, your color guard, your drum major, just no instruments. We can't do that, but I can definitely get you in touch with the right people to get everything else. And I'm excited about it. Like, I did a pivot. Whitney, you know about this. Like, when the pandemic happened, I was like, there's no more teaching for me. Obviously, I didn't stick with that because I'm going back on tour. But there's no directing for me. I have done double-digit years and I'm good. And I'm still trying to get a solid footing in, judging. So I think that this is another way to stay in it when I'm not, because there is a huge gap in my year, when I'm not really doing anything with the marching arts. So this is actually going to be a great time or a great way to stay in it. Tell me if you need anything. Awesome. All right. Well,
okay. It's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
I always love our time together. I want to thank everyone for a great rehearsal this week. And thanks to our hosts, Trish, Austin, Whitney, and our producer, Christine, who we don't get to see that much. But now it's the Wiz. We'll call her Wiz behind the curtain. And officially voted as a new host, the fabulous Bobbey Biddle.
Thanks for having me, friends. It's been a blast.
You're welcome. I put a lot of emphasis on the.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to make sure the check clears. The check just has to clear. It has to be spelled right.
Got you. D's, not T's. Got you. One more thing, please don't forget to that we have a YouTube channel now. So a lot of our interviews are coming out as full editions, and you can catch that on YouTube. Go and subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And before you close out of this podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, and share this link with a friend. Follow us on all of our social media on a water break, and we'll see you at rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.